Hi, I'm Maria Taylor and welcome to part 3 of my mini reading and workshop for States of Independence this year. And this is the third and final instalment of the workshops. So for the first workshop, we looked at routines and things you may have done when you were younger. For the second one, we looked at ghosts, which is probably one of my favourite topics. I love ghosty things. And for the third and final segment, we're thinking about the great outdoors. So places you've been to, maybe exciting landscapes, or maybe how you interact with a particular landscape, which is the subject of this first poem, which is called Woman Running Alone. Now, I am a runner. I'm not saying I'm a very good one or I'm particularly fast, but I do enjoy doing it. I don't think the woman in this poem is me necessarily, but I can relate to her. And I certainly wrote it from the perspective of a woman who's running by herself and thinking about the environment in which she's running through. So I was imagining a city, and I think it's a kind of mixture of many different cities, really. But I know some of this is definitely North London, and I'm very familiar with North London because I was brought up in London. And I was thinking about some of those kind of sights we see which kind of disturb us, I think, as well across the country. So homelessness, or, you know, things showing what kind of a struggle people have in their lives as well, and how when you're running you kind of see all of this really kind of speeded up. So a poem about a woman running, interacting with her environment then. Woman running alone. A woman who follows her own trail and pounds pavements of unending cities, past statues of forgotten men, fountains, sticky sunshine pouring over tower blocks, past gentrified basement windows where wives hear the washing up howl between their hands, past suits on phones and panda-eyed women in doorways with faces that say, I know, tell me about it. These streets where open hands beg for more than is ever offered, where someone's kid is a sleeping bag, where the wolf whistle becomes the wolf and love's worn like musk aftershave, where she forgets who she is, Miss Keep On, Miss Never Going Home, neither running away nor running toward anyone, wind-sifted, letting the weather sing through her, she who is different to her brothers. The rhythm fills her with flight, and her wings, what wings she has. So my next poem is a funny little poem, really. A few years ago, we were staying in Whitby. We were driving off to Whitby, and we went through a place called Filingdales in West Yorkshire, and the landscape immediately haunted me. I couldn't believe what we were driving through. It's this very kind of rough, kind of dramatic landscape. And as someone who doesn't know Yorkshire particularly well, as you can hear from my accent, I suddenly understood why that kind of landscape and countryside has affected so many writers and poets in particular, because it seemed very vivid and very alive, but also kind of threatening as well. The countryside felt threatening, very kind of deep, kind of dark colours and hills and jagged kind of shapes and what have you. And as if to put a cherry on the top, we passed in Filingdales the Ministry of Secrets, which is a real place. I know it sounds like something out of Harry Potter, but it's not. It's a real place, and there's a kind of huge radar, which just looks like a big circle on a kind of rectangular, kind of triangular surface. So that's not very clear, but I mean that's literally all it is. But it's apparently skimming the skies for any detection of ballistic missiles. So it's quite a staggering location, and although I don't think we drove through it for more than just a few moments, really, it most certainly stayed with me. So The next outdoor poem is Filingdales. Moors are god-peppered purple, and ghosts are everywhere. We pass the Ministry of Secrets, the land's sore thumb. Its one-eyed radar scours clouds for attack. A mayday, save me, passes over fell walkers, all swinging arms and purpose. Unheard whispers disperse over a jagged horizon. Something quivers, Esk, Derwent, signs for water with no water to be seen. Cotton grass bows. We breathe in the bottle green hardness of silence. So those are my two outdoors poems. So I'd like you to think about the outdoors, and it can be a sort of scary place like Filingdales, if you like, a kind of dramatic place, or it can be and you might find this quite a mindful thing to do. It could be rather a nice calming location, perhaps somewhere that you went once and made you feel really at peace or what have you. But you might also want to think about how you interacted with that environment. So for this exercise, rather than just giving you a topic, I'd also like you to think about things you can see in this landscape. So make a list of 4 or 5 things you can see, 4 or 5 things you might find on the journey if you were passing through this particular place. And it can be something which is very, very big, and maybe include something which is very, very small. So in your poem or short story or piece of prose, whatever it may be, you're kind of changing the view of your camera from very big maybe to very small as well. So for this exercise, as it's the last one, you can have a whole 5 minutes for this, because you might need some thinking time as well. And you might want to begin by thinking of those 5 things you can see, which has to include one thing which is quite big and one thing which is quite small. So the great outdoors, think of a location and let it come alive. And if you like, perhaps it might literally come alive in your piece. So thank you so much. It's going to be goodbye from me now. I hope you're taking part in other events today and you're enjoying yourself. And any work which comes from this workshop would be absolutely wonderful if anyone would like to share or include it on the websites and the chats which are happening throughout the day. So I will see you soon. Good luck, happy writing, and enjoy your day. Goodbye.